It's now Xabi Alonso's Madrid, and Alonso so far has got good results, and this is the thing to bear in mind. If we have a look at the league fixtures so far this season, this actually slide does not include the Valencia result yet. That data isn't even in, but you could see there if that was added, you'd be looking at Madrid having played 6 at home, won 6. Then you look at that away column, and you'd see that they played 5 away from home, won 4, only lost the 1 against Atletico Madrid. But it is interesting to look at that top end of the table. You know, they played against Villarreal, played against Barcelona, played against Espanyol, won those games at home. But it's only tight against Getafe away from home, who currently sit 6th. And Atletico Madrid away from home, they find themselves on the end of a 5-2 reverse. Even looking further down the table, it was a tight game against Real Sociedad as well, that they won 2-1 away from home. But you've got to respect this record. Of course you have. To at any point in a league season be played 11-1-10, then you're in excellent nick. Let's spool it along and look at the European results. And again, you can only beat what's in front of you, and Real Madrid have done that. A good 2-1 win against Marseille. They went away to Kairat, won by 5-0. Pop 4 team in there as well, unexpected qualifiers. Beat Juventus 1-0. They were better than 1-0 against Juventus in the same way as we'll come on and show. They were better than 2-1 against Barcelona. It's a side that is in good nick, but there is some disquiet because there always is. It's Real Madrid. So to find out more about that and about Madrid so far this season, let's get over and let's speak to Miguel. Joined by Miguel Pereira to talk about Real Madrid. It's a funny start to the season for Real Madrid because they've found themselves in playing very, very good football, whilst there's still disquiet somewhere around the camp in a couple of ways. I mean, this is very Real Madrid, isn't it, Miguel? You know, you can be beating Barcelona, and yet there's all sorts of rumours that players aren't happy, that you're clear at the top, but someone wishes they were getting their game more. Some players feel like they're being asked to do too much. It's all very, very Real Madrid for what I think on paper looks like a really good start to the season.
It's totally Real Madrid in a sense that you have football clubs that are clubs that belong to managers. So they deliver themselves, they deliver their soul to their managers, and the managers set the blueprint and what define the club. And Real Madrid is all about players. It's player power, as always have been since Di Stefano back in the 50s. So Real Madrid always have focus. Their approach as an institution as giving freedom to players to express themselves, which has worked especially on Champions League because those are the big nights that players always want to perform, but not so much at league level. That's why if you see the records over the past 35 years, Real Madrid has won only 10 leagues, and only by Real Madrid standards is too few, comparing with Barcelona, who has won 20 plus. But in the Champions League, they have won a lot of Champions Leagues over the past 15 years. So the club, in a sense, their DNA has been focused on having the players happy for the big nights. And a manager like Xabi Alonso is not a manager that will grant the players that sort of freedom they were used to under Ancelotti or even under Zidane. And I think there's a clash of ideals in the dressing room happening right now between players who are so used to having total freedom both on and off the pitch under Ancelotti, like Vinicius, and the players who embrace the tactical mindset of Alonso that is bringing so much to the game that Real Madrid lacked last season. So it's a clash of egos, really, and it's disturbing the beginning of what you have said. It's in terms of results, a very good start of the season.
Well, I think the clash of those egos is interesting because you've just sort of made it clear there. There's some players for whom simply winning is what they want, like being part of a winning team, going on, hopefully, from their point of view, winning La Liga, doing as strongly as they can in the Champions League. For some players, that will be the most important thing, won't it? But there are others who want to be able to, in their mind's eye, play their football. And I think that at times you can just say, well, it's the players and the manager and there's a disconnect. That's not the case here, is there? There's some players who very much like what the manager is doing and bringing, but there's other players who are part of the disquiet that comes out.
Yeah, essentially the players that didn't get much playing time last year with Ancelotti, young players like Arda Güler or players that have just arrived like Mastantuono, those players don't know the Real Madrid that Vinicius does, that Rodrigo does, that Bellingham does. So there's also a clash of those players understanding that the future of the game is in the hands of managers. It has been for quite a while now. Whether players like Vinicius or Bellingham or Mbappe, they still believe that players are the most important part of the game, and they don't just want to win things. They want to be the best on the pitch, and to be the best, you have to have a team settled for you. And you have very different players who want to have the team settle for them, who have different characteristics, so you cannot please them all. And I think for a few weeks now, Xabi Alonso has made a decision that his project will be based on Mbappe's and probably on Bellingham and not on Vinicius. And of course, Vinicius is a very complicated guy to have in the dressing room, always have been since his beginnings. And he has reached such a position within the club. He has become such a symbol of the years of Ancelotti that messing around with him is open like a new Pandora box inside the dressing room. And at the same time, you always have the situation that Vinicius' contract ends in 2027. So the club has to make a decision right now if they want to keep Vinicius happy so that he can renew his contract and they can get him to stay or at least to sell him at a good price in the future. They need to have Xabi Alonso back off a little bit, but they are in full support of the manager. They are aware that what can happen to them is what they have done to so many clubs like Liverpool. Is just Vinicius say, okay, I'll stay until 2027, then I'll just move out to the highest bidder.